Hello everyone, Ratzi here from DJKit. Welcome to the Isolation Ratcave. Big one from me today. I'm comparing the brand spanking new Numark Mixtrack Pro FX versus the last Mixtrack Pro, the Mixtrack Pro 3. So the Numark Mixtrack Pro 3 was Numark's last kind of entry-level budget DJ controller. It came out back in 2015, and the Mixtrack Pro FX has just been released a few days ago, now in 2020. So let's have a look to see how much has changed over the past 5 years. So although it may not look like it, there is a slight difference in size between these two units. The Mixtrack Pro 3 is 55 centimeters wide and 23 centimeters deep, whereas the new Mixtrack Pro FX is a little less wide at 53.6 centimeters and a little bit deeper at 24.6 centimeters. So, you know, it doesn't seem like much, but this might be the difference in kind of fitting one of these controllers into a universal carry case. And also it kind of, in my opinion, puts it a little bit more into proportion. So speaking of size, actually one of the main differences here is the size of the jog wheels. So you've got 5-inch jog wheels here on the Mixtrack Pro 3, but the Mixtrack Pro FX have stepped up an inch. You've got 6-inch jog wheels on this bad boy. Also, the obvious difference in color, the jogs on the new Pro FX are black and silver with a marker strip on them, whereas the jogs on the Mixtrack Pro 3 are just a block silver here, but they do have that red LED going around the outside, which the Pro FX is missing. So another difference between the two controllers here, which actually gets a big thumbs up my end, is as you can see on the Mixtrack Pro 3, it is completely symmetrical. So imagine a mirror running down here. You can see the cue and the play button in the bottom right-hand corner of this deck, but they're in the bottom left-hand corner of this deck, and the pitch faders are on the outside. Whereas now on the new Numark Mixtrack controllers, this is the same on the Platinum FX as well. They aren't symmetrical anymore. So you've got the cue and the play buttons in the bottom left-hand side of both of the decks, and the pitch fader is on the right-hand side to the jog wheel. Now, as I say, I'm quite a big fan of this new layout. I feel like, you know, this kind of emulates the higher-end controllers and higher-end DJ equipment, which people, when they start on an entry-level controller such as this Pro FX, you know, you move up to the higher-end stuff, you might be used to having your sort of symmetrical layout. Whereas the higher end stuff will be non-symmetrical. So it's great that Numark have now decided to go back to this non-symmetrical layout, in my opinion. So added on to the Mixtrack Pro FX, which the Mixtrack Pro 3 doesn't have, is this instant loop section down here. So you've got an instant loop by hitting that loop button, and you can also edit the size of the loop. You can half it by pressing this one, or double it by pressing that button there. Also with the shift, the secondary functions, if you hold shift, you can manually put a loop in by pressing shift and that one, or shift and that one to end the loop. So, you know, that is missing from the Mixtrack Pro 3. May not be a game changer because there is auto loop functions on both of the controllers. But, you know, it's a nice additive to have, so you can just be hitting in customized loops and stuff like that. And also the secondary function of this loop button here is a re-loop. So what that does is take you back to the last loop that you did, no matter where you are in the tune that you're playing. So onto the performance pads now. Now the pads themselves are similar kind of size and a nice rubber pad, but the difference between the two is the new Pro FX has got dedicated performance modes along the top, whereas the Pro 3 here, you have to toggle between the pad modes by pressing this button here. As you can see, that's on manual loop at the moment. Then move it over to auto loop or move it over to the sampler there. So, and also along the bottom of the Pro 3, these are all your cues along the bottom 4 pads here, whereas on the Pro FX, you've got dedicated cue option along the top. So both controllers have got the Q options, although laid out slightly differently, and they've both got the auto loop function and a sampler. However, the Mixtrack Pro FX has got this wicked new performance mode on here called fader cuts, which basically emulates scratching, transformed scratch on a crossfader. So basically going like this along the top 4 pads. So you've got a 1-click, 2-click, 3-click, and 4-click, otherwise known as a crab, along these top 4 pads here. So basically it emulates scratching on whatever tune or sample you've got in your Serato deck. So a slight difference between the two controllers, just a change in name here. The wheel button here on the Pro 3 has been moved on the Pro FX down here and is now called the scratch button. Also, the secondary function of that scratch button is called bleep, which basically is like a reverse sensor. So if you're playing a tune at a kid's party that's got a swear word in it, pretty good to have that on there. Both controllers have got the pitch bend option, but on the Pro FX, it's moved underneath the pitch fader down here, whereas it's up above the pitch fader on the Pro 3. And also on the Pro FX, again, the shift secondary function, you can change the pitch range of the fader and also key lock. So probably the biggest difference here between the two controllers is the mixer section. You've got your 3-band EQ here on the Pro 3 and the little filter knob under here, which for me can get kind of confused with the EQ, whereas on the new Pro FX, you've got 3-band EQ and the filter knob down here looks different. It looks like a filter knob. It's bigger, chunkier, and that's a big improvement for me. Also now on the Pro FX, you've got a dedicated level volume at the top of the 3-band EQ, which the Pro 3 doesn't have. You've still got your browse knob here and your load 1 and 2, but if you double click on the Pro FX, it does an instant double, which puts whatever tune you've got in Serato on both of the decks at the same time. So the master gain on the Pro 3 is up here, but the master gain on the Pro FX is moved over here to the top right. And the mic gain on the Pro 3 is down here, whereas the mic gain is up here on the top left. Also, just about the microphone, the Pro FX still has just one microphone input, which is a 1/4-inch jack, which is on the back of the controller, whereas on the Pro 3, it is here on the front next to the mic gain control here. So let's look at the effects section now. This is where the Pro FX has really improved from the Pro 3. As you can see, the Pro FX has got these 2 paddles here, which is awesome. You know, you don't tend to see these on any kind of entry-level controllers around this price point. They're more common for battle controllers, you know, scratch mixers, that kind of thing. And actually, this whole mixer section here on the Pro FX really looks similar to Numark's scratch mixer. So you've got 6 dedicated Serato effects up here, which you can actually select by just clicking them. You've got high pass filter, low pass filter, flanger, echo, reverb, and phaser. And you turn the effect on by hitting the paddle. You can either hold it up like that, or you can one-shot it by just pulling it down. Also on the Pro FX, you've got a dedicated dry wet knob here for the effects, and you've got a beats knob here to change the beat of the effect. Whereas compared to the Pro 3 up here, this is where you control the dry and the wet of the effect that you've got in along this touch strip up here, and then your effects select is along these buttons here, which you have to click. So for me, it's, you know, I much prefer the physical seeing which effect you've got here and having all of the effects here in the mixer section rather than having them above here, above the jog wheel. So the Pro FX has carried over the single output from the Pro 3. So just a single master RCA output. Like I said, one microphone input, and it doesn't require power. It's powered via the USB cable, powered by your laptop. So quite a big difference, really, quite a big step up from the Pro 3 up to the Pro FX, particularly in the size of the jog wheels and the effects section and the paddles down here. I think the Pro FX looks like more of a serious controller. You know, like I said, the mixer section looks pretty much exactly the same as the Numark Scratch, which is a wicked mixer. So, you know, this controller, particularly with like the markers on the jog wheels and the bigger jog wheels as well, you know, this is a real strong contender for sort of entry-level scratch DJs who, you know, don't want to start on vinyl. They want to be on a controller, you know, don't want something which is going to break the bank. And, you know, this is kind of the controller for you. So big up to Numark, definite positive sort of transition from the Pro 3 up to the Pro FX. You know, 5 years worth of thinking has definitely paid off. Anyway, I hope that that's been helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the DJKit channel because there's plenty of other comparison videos on there and equipment reviews. Tag anyone that you think might be interested, maybe someone that's currently got the Pro 3 and doesn't know whether or not they want to upgrade to the Pro FX. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching guys. Peace.